Hey everybody, Jochen Heiden here, and I'm back with the Lodrik versus Heiden campaign. This is our scenario 1, 18 February 1942, turn 74, combat replay, and the intel. So, here's what I'm looking forward to this turn. I want to see if Lodrik comes back to Tarakan, because I got a little surprise for him, and I'm hoping we catch him with his pants down there. And I'm also curious to see what's going to happen with those carriers off of Luganville that he's got. My guess is that he's going to use them to cover the island itself, but, maybe he has other plans. Let's find out what he's going to do. Okay, so here we go. February 18th, 1942. A couple things I'll be looking to see here. As I previously mentioned, okay, so grab the dot base in Tarawa. Anyway, I was saying was, let's see if he's moving his Keto Butai over to Luganville to provide cap, to stop the bombing raids. That's what I think. And I'm also curious if he's going to come at Tarakan again. So I put some stuff there just in case he tried a second day's assault. We'll see what happens. It's a long shot, but it's worth looking into, right? All right, we've got some Coast Watchers here. Waiting for some sub-activity. Could be anywhere. Okay, AM phase. Oh. If I'm reading this correctly, it looks like he moved his carriers into Luganville, like into the hex. Okay, looks like we spotted a submarine near Brisbane. Prepare yourself for a lot of China spam. Wow, that's a decent sized raid, and he's targeting the base at Changsha. Okay, we don't really hurt him, but he does a fair amount of damage to the runway. Moderate rain in the hex this turn. Okay, an escorted raid going into Kukong with lilies. And this is targeting the ground troops, right? Not the field, but the ground troops. He's trying to slow us down, exiting. This is kind of a random raid on some troops that are kind of way out here. I'm surprised he can even see these. He must be like reconning his hexes or something. Alright, so he causes some damage there, but nothing major. Another decent sized raid on Kukong. Okay. Another escorted raid on Changsha. Another raid on Changsha. Minor damage. And another one. Oh, well, okay, I called it. Once again, I've been right about this stuff. So I got some B-17s, yikes, going into Luganville, but there's 45 zeros there. It looks like some aircraft make it through. I don't even know if we even hurt the airfield. And we lose one. He doesn't appear to lose any. 45 zeros on cap. Ah, and look what it is. Soryu, Shokaku, and Zuikaku. So that doesn't mean that these carriers are necessarily there, but their air groups are. At least the fighter air groups are there. Alright, and another B-17 raid goes in. This time only 41 zeros are up, but that's still enough to... Looks like we lost another B-17 there. Alright, so we lose another one. He doesn't lose anything. And we don't do anything. All right, that's the AM phase. Let's see what happens in the PM phase. Hopefully no more B-17s go to Luganville. Hopefully that whoever survived the first set of raids has told their buddies to chill. Okay, a vowel. Okay, we're attacking. Okay, so it looks like we got a hit on one Japanese sub. Possibly. Not confirmed. Okay, so we're hitting Bandung, or we're getting hit at Bandung, and he's targeting the airfield. Looks like we take out one nail by flak. He hits the base, which will hurt us building fortifications there. Well, that's unfortunate. Kaga won. These swordfish are done for. Yeah, that's it for them. So, it looks like both swordfish out of Balikpapan don't make it. These fighters materialize out of nowhere. I'll have to kind of figure out where they came from. It is interesting. It says it's the Kaga 1, so I don't know what that means. It doesn't necessarily mean that the Kaga's still alive. It could be, but these planes may have been recovered from the Kaga, you know, and the squadron's still alive, even though the carrier's not. So, you know, this doesn't necessarily tell us anything, but we do know that the Zeros from the Kaga, at least some of them did make it, and there's 18 of them. And they're flying cap at 10,000 feet, but where they came from, we'll have to find out. That I don't know. Okay, that's it for... Oh! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 transports shot down over Tarakan. He went for it again. We got him this time. Oh, okay, so the Finback takes a shot at, looks like the Santo Maru, a patrol boat south of Kashiro, and we miss. And he doesn't catch us. So, hard to tell if that's a Mark 14 issue or just bad luck, but we missed this patrol boat. All right. So he's landing on Denpasar, and he's working his way down this island chain from Java towards Timor. Okay, the daily bombardment of Changsha. We'll get through that quickly. So, you know, Firelight, I'm taking a longer amount of time to look at these forces here. I think I see what's going on. All right, so 1,735 AV versus 4,200. We take a ton of casualties because of the heavy guns he's got. But when you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 maneuver regiments, right? And the rest of these are basically field artillery and support units. So he's only got 3 divisions, 4 take regiments, pinning us down here. And that means the rest of those troops are freed up to do something else. And I think they're up here near Sian. Okay, it's another attack on these isolated and beaten and battered troops at Semarang. So okay, so he doesn't destroy them outright, but one surrenders. And it looks like the Gillett Jap base force is still hanging on for dear life. Okay, RTA division is attacking the Indian Brigade north of Temelo. And this goes exactly as I expected. inconclusive and useless because, um, Royal Thai Army units in this game are just trash, and there's your trash result. Okay, so he's attacking again at Tarakan with basically nothing. I don't know. Okay, look at those odds. That's no good. Alright, so his attack completely fails. It does not disrupt the fort level. We are dealing with bad fatigue and bad experience, and he's got disruption. Probably from so many troops being shot down in the air in those transports and just attacking 2 days in a row after an airborne assault. So he's going to have to figure out something else at Tarakan. Okay, ADAC, Fort Level 3. Kumak, Airfield, Size 4. Some Soviet stuff that doesn't matter much, but alright. Kumak at Size 4 is good. I was going to say this wasn't an awesome turn until the last little bit. I'm kind of happy with how that worked out at Tarakan. So I'm 2 for 2 at calling Lodrik's moves here. I'm really starting to figure him out. And I learned something else. He's gotten wise to my air attacks in the Dutch East Indies, and he's not going in unescorted anymore. Or at least he doesn't appear to be. So we're going to have to figure out another method there. Get some ships coming on map. These two are transfers. These are reformed units that I bought out. These are brand new. All right, let's take a look at this turn. This was exciting. At the end, for me. Okay. So the turn wasn't so great, but maybe it was. I don't know. Let's take a look at it. I just realized I just looked at some stuff, and I'm kind of excited to show you. Let's get to it. Right, we'll start with the aircraft losses for today. 7 to 12 in our favor, but our losses were heavy in some areas. So for today, we're reporting 5 of these Mavis transport planes shot down, which is very, very good. He doesn't get a lot of these in this campaign, and they're pretty capable. So losing these, you can bet they were loaded with stuff that he needed. So I think it's pretty awesome. This, on the other hand, was not so great. 5 of our B-17Ds were lost this turn over Luganville, and those are not replaceable losses. Once the B-17Ds are gone, they're gone forever. We do get B-17Es, but they come in as a trickle. So this is kind of a substantial loss to our 4-engine bomber force today. He loses 3 more Topsies. These are transport planes. So now we're up to 8. L3Y2 Tinas, more transport planes. Now we're up to 10. We lose 2 swordfishes, which, I'll talk about that later. He loses a Talia and a Sally, another transport plane. So 11 transport planes today reported as lost. And an L to round it out. Not bad in the end. Looking at the top pilot's turn, we have 1 missing in action, 2 wounded, and 2 KIA, for a total of 5 pilots lost today out of 7 aircraft. Well, I should say 3 pilots lost for good, 2 on the fence. You don't know if you're going to get these wounded pilots back all the time. Looking at the pilot replacement pool and at my wounded pilots, here's what we're showing in the group. It does appear that we are getting back this guy, and this guy. So this might be one of our bomber pilots shot down last turn, and we're getting him back, allegedly. Going to the actual reserve here, we'll take a look at our guy Tanner B. Again, not showing a return date. And as part of the ongoing tests I'm doing for a month of in-game time, I won't be retiring any more pilots until I see whether or not these guys come back or not. So again, my theory is that once they're back to reserve and they're showing wounded with no return date, you're not going to get a return date. They're never coming back. So let's see if that holds true. So far, I've seen nothing to refute what I'm saying, but we'll give it a 1 month test just to find out. And again, Tanner B is our test case in particular, and he has not got a return date yet. I would like to add that this return date is when he'll be returned to the pool. Okay, when he's coming back to be available for reassignment in the pool. All right, let's continue on. Army lost points didn't really change substantially this turn. It went up a little bit due to losses in Java. But what I find interesting is that his Japanese Army lost points did not increase. And I know for a fact that he lost troops on those transports that we shot down. So what I've understood from this game is for us to get the points, we have to kill them. If they're lost, like unloading over the beach, or they're shot down in planes, and they weren't lost during ground combat, I don't think we get the points for them. Because you have to know that we just basically shredded the 2nd Raiding Regiment in the air. So I don't think that he gets those back. So we'll have to see. Oh, okay. Let me rephrase that. I don't think we get the points for them, even though our aircraft shot them down. That's just what I've noticed from this game. Well, if you know something different about how lost points is calculated, by all means, drop a line and let me know what it means. Let's continue on. Ship sunk last turn. We're not reporting anything, but we'll come back to this in a minute because I think you see that this went from 55 to 56, and the number just went up a ton, right? Well, I'll show you why in just a little bit. So currently the score, he's ahead by 3,500 points. I'm pretty sure that we gained on him this turn. So this ain't looking too good for him right now. So let's take a look at the SIGINT first. So for February 18th, I'm going to go through this quickly and see if we see anything interesting. Okay, he's got an engineer unit heading to Serbia. Heavy radio traffic at Serbia. Manila and Tokyo have heavy... Okay, so we have multiple instances of radio traffic at multiple bases. So Serbia, Tokyo, Singapore. So there's some stuff going on. We need to take a look at this. This could be good information here. 1st Air Division at Nagasaki. Engineer Regiment at Rabaul. Southern Army. Oh, check it out. Southern Army located at Bandung. So that means that at Bandung, we'll take a look at that. He's got the bulk of his troops here now. So he's looking to just straight out take it out. I thought he may just want to tie us up and maneuver around, but he's looking to actually take it out. Another interesting tidbit here is that the 14,000 men are at Truk. And let's take a look at this. 37th Division at 8542. 8542, I think, is somewhere in China. 8542. So another SIGINT piece of intel telling us he's got another division, or one that we may have already cited, but it's confirmed here at this hex. All right, so we also take a look at Tokyo, and now you see 2 of 12. Look what it's telling us. He has 152 fighters, 221 bombers, 144 auxiliary aircraft training at Tokyo. That's massive. That's, geez, 400, almost 500 aircraft at Tokyo training. That's a large amount of aircraft, right? Good thing we didn't go for a carrier raid at Tokyo, right? That would have been a disaster for us. So the SIGINT's coming in nice, and it also tells us what he's got here. Look at this. Ships sighted in port. Now, the quantity I trust, the type I don't. It's suggesting he's got quite a bit of destroyers there at Tokyo, and that I don't actually believe, because the Japanese don't have a lot of destroyers to begin with, and to have that many tied up in Tokyo doing nothing seems hard for me to believe. So I don't believe that. But I believe he's got a lot of ships there. So this SIGINT was valuable. Let's take a look at another place that was mentioned. Truck says detection 1 of 3 because we got some data. Let's see. Manila doesn't really tell us much. Now, Singapore, on the other hand, look at this. So, look. I'm speechless. Look at the amount of aircraft that it's saying he has there. 57 fighters, 238 bombers. Are you kidding me? This could be something important. All right. That is a lot of bombers. I don't think he's got that many twin engine like Nels and Bettys to all put in Singapore here. So this might be telling us something else. All right, 95 ships in port. This could be a sign of something. Like, for example, the Kido Butai is here, or some of them are here now. It's conceivable that he moved them from Truk to Singapore, which straight line distance is 74. And for him to be smart, he would have wanted to go kind of around this way and back down to avoid detection. I don't know if he's had enough time to get the Kido Butai here, but this many bombers and fighters does strike me as surprising. I don't know what to make of this, but I know I'm talking about this a lot, but this is noteworthy. That's a lot of bombers. I'm wondering if the Kido Butai somehow showed up here and he's parked his aircraft carriers here in the port and is just, unloading the aircraft in port just to help them train or rearm, re-equip. I don't know. I feel like our spotter planes here would have sighted some carriers coming in at some point, but it's not a guarantee that they would. I don't know. It's something we need to ponder. Are his carriers at Singapore now, and is he maybe attempting to try for another attempt into, the Indian Ocean? It's very possible. It does have me a little concerned. So we will watch this very closely and see what we get out of this in coming turns. Again, I don't know that he had enough time to get Kido Butai here without taking shortcuts, which is dangerous for him, but that's a lot of bombers in one spot, assuming the SIGINT is correct, which, I think it's credible. All right, let's continue on to the operations report, because I did skim through it already before I started recording just to see, and I found something really exciting at the bottom, but I'll go ahead and continue going through here. I'll point out some stuff that looks important. Okay, repairs complete on AR Vestal at Nemea, so that's going to help expedite repairs on the ships that we have in the port right now. Some sightings of possible subs. I don't know if I believe it. Hudson reports oil slick at Bassin. I believe that. We did spot a sub at Brisbane. Okay, damaged B-17 Fortress crashes on return leg. Another B-17 written off. A Porpoise class sub is reported as hit. I'll have to look into that. I don't know if that's true. That would be an American sub. All right, a Japanese L4 class sub is reported as hit. This is near I believe this is near Australia. Transports. Oh, check this out. This is really fun. Transports flying into Tarakan intercepted by Dutch fighters that I put there, and this is where we start shredding them up. Now we start killing them. Look at that. Transports flying into Tarakan intercepted again. There's some more damage from flak, destroyed by flak. Another transport flight intercepted by a different one. Transports flying intercepted again. So look at this is where his transports were intercepted going to Tarakan, and this happens off kind of on the sidelines. You don't see the animation like you would on a sweep or like a base attack. This happens because I had the fighters set to cap, and during the transport phase, they were intercepted by these aircraft. Um, and again, you don't see that happen. You see it kind of like through the little text call outs, but not the actual animation for like air combat. But this is where we shredded his bombers, his transport planes coming into Tarakan. I knew he was going to do this too. That's why I moved these Dutch fighters there to cover this. And sure enough, this is what happened. I'm quite proud of myself for figuring this out. Okay, so we know that Nagasaki is now at a sphere field size 6. Adak is at fortification level 3, which is basically making this base off limits to Lodrik forever. Tulagi expands to port size 3. That's not ideal for us. I mean, that's the one just north of Guadalcanal. Tarawa expands to size 1 airfield, which means he can probably start operating aircraft out of there pretty soon if he's not already. Babal size 6, not good for us. Kumak size 4, which is good. This is a Soviet base. We don't care about it right now. Okay, so Nemea takes B-17 replacements. And then we have quite a bit of upgrades for the 3rd Marine Defense Battalion and a bunch of the Dutch units at Bandung. Okay. Oh, now, check this out. This is what we were waiting for, guys. CV Kaga is reported to have been sunk near Rangoon on February 12th. So, what does that tell you? I'll tell you what it means. When it's reported in the operations report, it is confirmed, it is locked in, it's permanent. So now we know for 100% fact that the Kaga did sink. So if the Kaga sank, that is very likely to mean that the Ryujo sank as well, because it took even more bomb hits than the Kaga did. So there is no way that the Ryujo made it out of there if the Kaga didn't. So that could also mean that the Zuiho did survive, because it only took 2 bomb hits, and I don't know if that's enough to take it out. So that's on the fence. The 2 Japanese heavy cruisers, I think, are on the fence, and with a likelihood that they did survive. That's okay if they did, but they're damaged. So, but we do know we sank the Kaga, so that's a guaranteed trade for the Enterprise. We will get more heavy carriers later in this campaign. He will not, except for the Taiho, if you want to count that, and then the Shinano if he's actually building it. But those are much later than we will start getting the Essexes. So I guess trading Enterprise for the Kaga is not a terrible trade. But at least we know we sank it now. That's cool. So my attack did bear some fruit. Okay, the rest of this is a bunch of the rest of this is a bunch of stuff, arriving for reinforcements. So, okay, let's start talking about the situation on the map. And we'll start in China, and we'll work our way to the juicier places later on. We are still withdrawing back towards Sian at this point, but what I think I find interesting is that he does not appear to be moving towards Sian at this point. I don't know why. He has plenty of force here, 2,500 AV or more. I think he could blow through here with the shock attack, especially into clear terrain. But for whatever reason, he appears to have stopped his movement, and I don't really know why. If nothing else, he should move here and just threaten us more. But now this is giving us a moment of pause, and we don't know what to do. So I think he needs to press forward and execute this attack like he's alluding to. Come on, Lodrik, do it. I want to see some action up here. So we do know, after really looking at the forces being engaged at Changsha, that he's freed up a lot of his divisions, and I believe that's what we got up here now, is a lot of stuff that came from Changsha that he relocated. Or it could just be some of these guys coming back in. Look at that. We have 50 units that are moving back towards Changsha. These could be a bunch of divided up units that are in thirds. It makes it look like there's more than there is. He may have pulled them out of Changsha to rest. He may be looking to make another attack on Changsha. He might be getting desperate here. He might just try to bludgeon his way through. So we'll see how that goes. But given that Changsha is got size 3 forts, 4,200 AV, sitting on ×2 terrain, he's going to have to come at us with quite a bit to have any chance of dislodging us. So I don't know if he has enough to do that. We'll find out. These guys are well on their way to getting into Pinxiang. 2 more days and most of them will be there, with the encircling unit probably about a week out from bidding into this hex. We're almost out of what is it called? Kukong. We got just a few units left, and then we'll be fully evacuated, and then he can have this base if he's so inclined. He can have it in all its damage glory. I don't want it. This base is nothing but an eyesore to me, and I can't wait to be done with it. We had some good wins here. We had some bad losses here. Kukong's been a pain in my butt, and I guess you could look at this as the butt of China, right? It's the bottom end. But I'm not going to be sad to see this base go if he takes it. It's all yours, bud. Enjoy. We'll just reform over here and make a new line of defense. All right, that covers China pretty good. Let's take a look at Burma. Pretty quiet. We got our first supply convoy back in from Calcutta. So we're going to unload another 8,000 supplies here. Within the next 2 turns, I got 42,000 here. And probably about 4 turns, I got 56,000 there. In about a week, I've got probably another 41,000 there coming out of Calcutta. So I am looking forward to getting more supply in Rangoon and watch that flow towards China and all these supporting bases. Real quiet down here. We're not really seeing anything of interest. The sub threat seems to have diminished around Ceylon. We don't see anything happening out here at the moment. I don't think we should be too lackadaisical because of what we found out about what's going on in Singapore, which could very well indicate the Kido Butai has somehow arrived here and is maybe forming up for an attack. So be that as it may, we do have time. I'm going to continue to operate my ships for now until I see a bigger threat coming. And we'll keep getting supply into Rangoon this way. We already talked about Singapore. Okay, so over here on Java, this Tajilat Jap base force is hanging out for absolute dear life. I do not understand how these guys are still alive, but they are. They appear to be surrounded. No, they're not surrounded. But I just don't... I don't know how much longer they got. It's any day now for them. So here's the big story. He is now into Bandung with 24 units, and we do know for a fact that the Southern Army headquarters is here. We saw it. So that's going to help him on his attack. He gets attack bonuses from that. We only have 628 AV here, but we do have size 3 forts. We also have mountain terrain. So it's going to be pretty bloody for him, I imagine, if he attempts to attack at Bandung. But we're ready. We're as ready as we're ever going to be, and I look forward to the battle whenever it happens. I do expect eventually every one of these men to be killed or captured. That's just how it's going to go on Java. But it should be a good battle, since he's obviously not going for just like a bombardment or just to keep us tied down. He looks like he's going to eradicate this unit with this amount of force. So I think it'll be fun. And I look forward to seeing it happen. So let's talk about this area. 2 things happened here this last turn. One, I sent out some swordfish to attack this task force, and they all got shot down. And here's why. There's no carrier out here, but this is what we do have. And here's my theory. He has air capacity of 4 at Miri, which is more than enough to operate a lot of aircraft. I think he's got zeros operating out of Miri, okay? And the zeros that he's got operating here are what's left from the Kaga, the ones that did not go down with the ship, okay? So look at this task force. It is 10 hexes away. That is within the range of a 0 with drop tanks, okay? Now, let's look at some other information here about the combat report when those were shot down. Let me if I can find it. Okay, look at this. He had a total of 18 zeros, 6 airborne, 12 on standby. This is long range cap, all right? how long range cap works is that if you set it to 100, it will take 1/3 of those dedicated aircraft for long range cap and always have them over the destination unit or the destination hex. All right. So that tells me that he's using long range cap at 100 because 6 of his 18 aircraft were on station with 12 on standby. So these rest of these guys probably got scrambled and were heading out to keep coverage over this hex, but these are the ones that were there. So he used this unit as bait to suck out my aircraft to attack him. So he's operating zeros at a Miri on long range cap with drop tanks, and he's using this unit as bait to draw out my bombers towards it. And presumably other units that are coming in this way as well. Pretty cool. But I think based on how my understanding of this game and the fact that we know he's got Miri and it can be used for these things, and it's within range of 0 with drop tanks, I think he has long range cap covering these ships to prevent attacks like this from occurring. So there you go. So at Tarakan, though, I knew he dropped these troops in on day 1, and I knew he'd have to come in to reinforce them because they're still too weak. So what I did was I took my Dutch buffaloes, right, and I put them all on 100% cap at 10,000 feet, right, and that's what intercepted the next wave of transport planes coming into Tarakan, and we ripped them up. And I'm really excited that that happened. But here's the problem now. Lodrik is aware of it. So here's what he's going to do next turn. He's going to sweep Tarakan from Miri. And he's probably going to bring aircraft from Singapore over to bulk that up to do it even more. So what we're going to do next turn is probably stand all these guys down. I'm not taking the bait. Because now he knows we have fighters here. He's got fighters here. 1 for 1, he can beat us because even if I had 30 buffaloes here, the 18 zeros are probably better. But I'm not taking the bait. Next turn, mark my words. Whatever, write this down. He's going to sweep Tarakan next turn at a minimum, if not bomb it. But we're not going to be in the air to receive that. If anything, I might pull these aircraft back into Balikpapan and just wait. The surprise is lost. There's no point in trying to operate these aircraft over here anymore because he knows we're here. He's going to divert his aircraft to dealing with Tarakan now, and we're going to pull out. We did what we came there to do. It's time to go. I'm learning not to continue attacking or doing the same thing over and over again because it establishes patterns. I detected a pattern here, and we stomped them. But now I'm playing at the poker table. I just won $5,000, and I'm walking away from the table with my money. I'm not betting. I'm not going all in on the next hand because we're going to lose it all. All right. So we also know that he's covering his ships in here now, so we have to be very careful about attacking them going forward. So I lost 2 swordfish. Right. It is what it is. I'm not getting them back. So 1 pilot's dead. 1 pilot's wounded. And then this unit no longer has aircraft. So I'll have to find another use for it now. Could possibly take it and load it up with some albacores, which are good too. But I don't know if I want to do that right now. I'll figure it out later. This part of Dutch East Indies is pretty quiet, with the exception of him landing at Den Pasar with a small unit. And he's going to start daisy chaining all the way down through all these bases until he hits something a little harder like Makassar, Kandari, Kopang. Then he'll have to come in with a bit more force. But these bases he can grab for cheap, and he might as well do it while he has the time. Okay, briefly looking at Perth area, this side of Australia is still really quiet. Over here on this part of Australia is very quiet. You do know he's got at least a couple subs operating in between Sydney and Brisbane, but we have enough ASW aircraft here now that we're spotting them. And I'm also trying to improve my sea lanes out here. So if you take a look at this, let's see, why do we have this guy in reserve? Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I'm going to be relocating some PBYs with really good ASW pilots, as you can see here. We're going to put them on Norfolk Island and Lord Howe, and I'm going to operate AVPs out of here to support them. Okay? And then we'll operate these PBYs to give our convoys coming in and out of Sydney a little more cover from the subs. We'll also have them at Lord Howe. And I think all I need to operate is partially divided PBY 5As. These guys are going to have radar on them soon, if they don't already. I think when they're grayed out, it means that they're getting it, but they don't have it yet. I think. If I'm misreading this, let me know. But be that as it may, they'll definitely spot subs out here, and that will help secure our supply lanes. Okay. We just upgraded the airfield on Kumak to size 4, which means we can now operate up to stacking level of 200, which is great. This is another base that we can launch operations from soon. I have Noumea currently upgrading up to a size 8 eventually. It'll take some time because as you get past the normal maximum, you can go 3 above it, but it takes progressively longer to do it. And a lot of my engineers are currently either at LaFaux, building that base, or the bulk of them are actually here at Kumak because I want to get this base built up quickly. So I have quite a bit of engineers here. And we're just churning through supply. All right, so I think the next thing we want to talk about is Luganville. And again, I'm 2 for 2 on this turn. Lodrik, while I didn't think he'd go directly into the Hex, he is definitely using his carrier aircraft to guard Luganville from attack because he wants to move more stuff in here. He wants to repair it. But as long as we're bombing it, he can't repair it. He can't stay ahead of the damage. So he moved these carriers here for the sole purpose of providing cap over Luganville so we can't bomb it easily. So there's 2 options here. We stop bombing it, or we just throw every bomber we got and hope that we just power our way through. I personally don't find that method sustainable. I don't have enough bombers. He can make more zeros right now than we can make bombers, and it's harder for us to get him out here. So I don't think that's a really sustainable plan long term. So we're going to have to come up with another option to dislodge these carriers. The subs, I think, aren't going to get it done because he's got ASW aircraft. Look at the detected. Right? So moving subs into this Hex may not be worthwhile because they're being spotted by his aircraft. But I'm gonna try anyway. I'll see if I can redeploy these subs to like make a little circle around here to try to keep these guys at bay. But one thing I do know is that this unit lacks any offensive power. He's got 14 bombers and just a few fighters. This unit is here to only protect Luganville, and I kind of predicted that, and sure enough, I was right. We did lose a lot of B-17s last turn attacking it, and that's my mistake for sending them in. If I knew, right, if I knew that that's what he was going to do, I shouldn't have attacked. But I had to know for sure. So I did send a small attack force just to kind of test the waters, and sure enough, it's exactly as I predicted. He is definitely using these guys to cover Luganville so he can try to get ahead of the damage here. So we'll come up with a plan to try to get these guys out of here. I don't know what that plan is yet, but we'll come up with one. Okay, so I think that's basically it for this turn. That's all the exciting stuff. We do have a few things sighted around here, around Rabal, and check this out. ACM's moving southeast, which is this direction. I think he's probably sending some ACMs back down to Luganville because we blasted all the ones that he had there, and he wants to get more mines in there. So he's sending even more ACMs into Luganville potentially. If not there, definitely to Tulagi. I think that's pretty funny. We'll just keep eating up his ACMs if he brings them into Luganville, though. That's fine with me. Okay, we did spot, it looks like a single patrol ship, or AMC, which is a coastal minesweeper, from our spotter planes at Wake, because Lodrik allowed us to have Wake still. The killers of Cagayan on Mindanao are well on their way back to Kagayan itself to dislodge these guys, and then we'll head back to Malay and just hang out. All right, so I briefly want to talk about my sub activities off of Japan. They suck. My plan is not working. It's not been effective. I think we can be successful in the Sea of Japan because I have seen a lot of shipping through here. But on this side of Japan, all we're doing is shooting at patrol boats. We haven't really found any convoys. It's not worthwhile to me to keep putting subs in here. I'm not even going to bother because look at that. One ship, one ship, one ship. These are just patrol boats. And all they're doing is tying up my subs. And we're not getting anything out of it. So I'm going to look at mixing up my sub strategy in this campaign. And I mentioned this in my Helsin campaign too, that I'm trying a new strategy there. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to try a new strategy and try to do better with my sub usage because we're just not getting anything out of these attacks. It's not worth the torpedoes to shoot at a patrol boat just to miss it. I want AKs, I want APs, I want big ships, not these patrol boats because he's just tying us up with these, and that's not going to win the sub battle off of Japan. All right, and then last but not least, and this is top secret, this is not to be discussed, but my destroyer minesweepers are finally here from Hawaii, and they're going to do a couple passes through here. We're going to look for any patrol boats that we can pick up, and then after that we will return to 8-act refuel and we'll try it again. But yeah, we'll see if we can pick up any of those patrol boats that we sighted out here not too long ago. I hope we can get an engagement because these destroyer mine layers have 4-inch guns and enough of them that we should be able to take out a patrol boat without any issue. That'll be kind of fun. So let's hope that we can do that. And I think all that's left to say is thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this turn. It got exciting, especially around Tarakan. It's pretty cool that we figured out what Lodrik's doing with his carriers here. It's pretty cool that we got some really cool SIGINT for Singapore that we need to ponder. It's even more cool that we found out that the Kaga sank near Rangoon on the 12th of February. That's great. So, yeah. I'll get this turned back to Lodrik soon, and we'll continue this campaign. It's definitely exciting for me. I wish there was more activity in Burma, but you know, Java's pretty hot. He's trying to take Tarakan, and we've got some carriers sighted here at Luganville. So, you know, what more can you ask for? I'm excited. Catch you in the next one.